competitive. Meaning with examples. Pronunciation. Competitive. Competitive. It is an adjective. Meaning. 1. A competitive activity is one in which companies, or teams are competing against each other. 2. Determined or trying very hard to be, more successful than other people or businesses. 3. Products or prices that are competitive are, cheaper but still of good quality. 4. Competitive is used to describe situations, or activities in which people, or firms compete with each other. 5. A competitive person is eager to be, more successful than other people. 6. Goods or services that are at a competitive price, or rate are likely to be bought, because they are less expensive than, other goods of the same kind. Examples. 1. I'm a very competitive person, and I was determined not to be beaten. 2. Homes for sale at competitive prices will secure interest from serious purchasers. 3. Games which are meaningless in a competitive sense always see lower attendances. 4. Acting is very competitive, you've got to really push yourself if you want to succeed. 5. Any new company is seen as an invader, in an already competitive market. 6. The technology exists to convert grain and sugar to ethanol at a competitive price. 7. We know we have competitive products to sell, if only consumers had access to them. 8. The hotel works hard to offer competitive salaries and benefits to our employees. 9. We can't put up our prices and still remain competitive with similar brands. 10. The independent learning setup only served to fuel my competitive streak. 11. Meanwhile, the biggest competitive moment of my life was only months away. 12. Unlike where I live now, they do not apply for the same few spots in competitive colleges. Compulsive. Meaning with examples. Pronunciation. Compulsive. Compulsive. It is an adjective. Meaning. 1. Compulsive behavior is very difficult to stop or control, and is often a result of, or a sign of a mental problem. 2. A book, program, etc. that is compulsive is so interesting, that you cannot stop reading, or watching it. 3. You use compulsive to describe people, or their behavior when they cannot stop doing something wrong, harmful, or unnecessary. 4. If a book or television program is compulsive, it is so interesting that you do not want to stop reading, or watching it. Examples. 1. Even their stormy temperament, or compulsive generosity could have been different. 2. The second series of this drama has been explosive, compulsive viewing. 3. He had in effect researched this through his own early life, as a compulsive gambler. 4. Compulsive overspending in these days of credit cards has become more common. 5. You tend to be compulsive about your job, and wind up defeating yourself. 6. Compulsive behavior is often a symptom of deeper psychological problems. 7. It took Ron and myself 2 days to view it, and compulsive viewing most of it was. 8. He always keeps at least one of everything he might need. He's compulsive like that. 9. Not another word. It's too typical. Permitting this anal compulsive to flounder like that. 10. Amanda had resumed her compulsive smoking, her hands shook and her gaze wandered. 11. Conversely, when he closes his eyes, and he loses himself in the music, he's compulsive. 12. Then he launches into a monologue about his struggle with obsessive compulsive disorder. Consecutive. Meaning with examples. Pronunciation. Consecutive. Consecutive. It is an adjective. Meaning. 1. If things are consecutive, they happen one after the other with no break. 2. Consecutive periods of time, or events happen one after the other without interruption. 3. Consecutive numbers or periods of time, follow one after the other without any interruptions. 4. Proceeding from one part, or idea to the next in logical order, as a story, reasoning, etc. 5. Consecutive events, numbers, etc. follow one after another without an interruption. 6. Used to describe events, numbers, etc. that follow one after another without an interruption. Examples. 1. Interest rates have been held at the same level, for the 10th consecutive month. 2. Transects were 75 stations in length, and traps were set for 10 consecutive nights. 3. The Cup was won for the 3rd consecutive year, by the Toronto Maple Leafs. 4. It was their 3rd consecutive match, without scoring a goal and without a victory. 5. Temperatures were expected to drop below zero, for the 2nd consecutive night. 6. There are golfers who have dominated certain events, with consecutive victories. 7. She did not wish to know, why Jack spent so many consecutive nights in London. 8. Perhaps there are infinite angels, perhaps I see 2 angels in their consecutive moments. 9. Several of these were in consecutive cells, which concentrated the bad vibe. 10. For 2 consecutive seasons he lived in the sunlight of Mademoiselle Duveen's presence. 11. That in the 3 driest consecutive years will be, about 80% of the mean for the 50 years. 12. Yellow rust of wheat, yellow rust widespread, in 2000 for the 4th consecutive year. Constrictive. Meaning with examples. Pronunciation. Constrictive. Constrictive. It is an adjective. Meaning. 1. The process of becoming tighter and narrower, or something that makes you feel that this is happening. 2. A limit, or the process of limiting, or controlling something or someone. 3. That constricts, or is accompanied by constriction. Examples. 1. Narrow steamboats were used to navigate the constrictive and winding river. 2. Compounds trapped in the cavity are said to be held there by constrictive binding. 3. When it's been going on for some time, or becomes more constrictive, migraine occurs. 4. This whole thing has a bizarre set of constrictive circumstances, Smith said. 5. The customer is usually wearing constrictive clothing, and feeling muscle tension from the day. 6. It should never be subject to constrictive nationalistic policies, which benefit some, but not all. 7. The garment should fit well, and allow freedom of motion without being constrictive. 8. It will be less prescriptive and more individualistic, less constrictive and more enjoyable. 9. Though the constrictive, calling it Hudson span sounds far more descriptive. 10. Among them are Parkinson's disease, shingles, drug rashes and constrictive pericarditis. 11. But it remains to be seen, how constrictive the Bank of England's rules will be. 12. So it's not a constrictive, or restrictive way of working, quite the opposite. Constructive. Meaning with examples. Pronunciation. Constructive. Constructive. It is an adjective. Meaning. 1. A constructive discussion, comment, or approach is useful and helpful rather than negative and unhelpful. 2. Something that is constructive brings about improvement and growth. 3. Useful and helpful, or likely to produce good results. 4. Leading to improvements or advances, formative, positive. 5. If advice, criticism, or actions are constructive, they are useful, and intended to help or improve something. 6. Intended to help someone, or improve understanding. Examples. 1. We could do with some constructive comments to encourage the England rugby team. 2. This paper proposes a new constructive implementation of real numbers. 3. Most teachers considered the activities to be constructive, enjoyable and valuable. 4. We would also like to thank the 2 referees for their critical and constructive comments. 5. After their meeting, both men described the talks as frank, friendly and constructive. 6. You have a constructive negotiation, where you try to find common ground. 7. His influence will grow as long as he keeps his criticism constructive and avoids rancor. 8. Now we'll keep our players' feet on the ground, with some constructive criticism. 9. While I wrote and revised my speech, the Freedom Rider gave me constructive criticism. 10. Which was not exactly the constructive sort of information she'd been looking for. 11. Math lab would be a more constructive option, she says with one eyebrow arched high. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for more videos. Meanings and examples are available in video description.